I'm Fanny, your host of this session, and today we are going to look at how compatibility between GPS trackers and Bluetooth sensors can improve performances and reliability in transport and fleet management. So the webinar will last around 45 minutes, and it will be concluded by a Q&A session. So if you want to ask questions, you can ask them by using the tool in the interface. And finally, a recording will be available on our website and on YouTube after the session. So if you want to share the presentation with someone else, please feel free. And if we don't have any time to answer your questions at the end, we will send you an email with some details and some answers to your questions. So let me introduce our expert of the day. So Oliver, France and UK sales manager representing ELA Innovation, and Richard, Europe solution engineer representing Digital Matter. Regarding the agenda, we will start with a brief company's presentations. Then we will take a look at the context and with some keywords and key figures about the context. And next, we will do a focus on the infrastructure and how it works. And at the end, we will conclude with 3 use cases, such as temperature monitoring, door opening detection, and driver ID.
It's a pleasure to be here presenting to you today. My name is Oliver, and I'm the sales manager for France and the UK, the British Isles. So good morning, bonjour, and marchi wa, which apparently is Irish, and I hope I got that correct. ELA Innovation is an experienced designer and manufacturer of industrial IoT beacons and sensors. We are headquartered in Montpellier in the south of France, but we have a strong international focus with employees based in France, the US, Singapore, Germany, and in fact we speak over 7 languages in our sales team, so I'm sure that we can help you with your projects. Our focus has been for over 20 years the design and manufacture of long-lasting, reliable and innovative beacons and sensors. Through our knowledge and control of the manufacturing design process, we bring significant added value and to our partners and integrators across the different verticals. And an excellent example of one such partner is Digital Matter. So over to you, Richard.
Great. Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Fanny. Yeah, hello, everybody. And as well, it's a pleasure to be here representing Digital Matter. So I'm Richard. I'm a solutions engineer here in the Netherlands office. Digital Matter has offices globally, with our head office in Perth in Australia, manufacturing in South Africa, as well as sales offices in Atlanta and the Netherlands, facilitating Europe and the UK. Over our lifetime, which is from the early 2000s, we've designed and manufactured over 3 million devices, with over 500 partners reselling our devices, including those all over the world, in over 120 different countries where our assets have connected and committed, with over 1,500 endpoints and counting. We have 86 employees currently, and that's growing on a daily basis. And yeah, we enjoy working with ELA as a partner of ours with their Bluetooth tags, and we will discuss this further in the webinar. So nice to meet you all. Great. So the main context for today is transport and telematics using GPS devices and Bluetooth devices. So overall, this market is massive worldwide. So 14 million trailers are in use, and that's registered trailers. So many more that might not be necessarily registered, from bigger to smaller trailers. $36 billion will be the size of the market potentially by 2028, with 8.2 billion euros worth of goods stolen within Europe every year. And theft is always the first question that comes to mind, especially when people mention tracking devices and GPS tracking devices. But as this webinar will explain, there's a much broader value add to using these within your solution. So we'll discuss that further. Overall, in the field of IoT, or the Internet of Things, using this integration of GPS tracking devices as well as Bluetooth devices together offers much more insight in terms of fleet management, asset tracking, security, productivity, predictive maintenance and preventative maintenance, as well as reducing operational costs through optimization of routes and asset utilization. So how do our GPS devices link with ELA devices, and how does this work in terms of an overall solution? So the tricky part when dealing with any kind of information is you have to be able to gather the information and send the information. And for us, from a GPS perspective, that means a GPS antenna that is just about the size of an ELA tag in some cases, as well as power to power that. So combining that with Bluetooth tags, which are much smaller and don't need to transmit as long range as a connected device, we are able to use our devices in conjunction with an ELA tag that can provide some additional smarts and send that up over multiple different methods of communication through our platform to any end platform required. So basically, we have our GPS device, which gathers a position as well as other information that our devices already can do in terms of smarts and acceleration. And through our devices that offer Bluetooth functionality, we can read the values from ELA sensors, which are lower cost than a full GPS unit and can provide some great additional smarts within your solution. So our device works as a gateway between the ELA Bluetooth tags, where we read the information, we do the heavy lifting in terms of power to transmit it up to the server, and that then gets forwarded and sent through to whichever end platform is required.
Okay, so we can go through the use cases, and the first one is about temperature sensors and how we can ensure cold chain traceability with GPS trackers and temperature sensors.
The key assets, or the key assets that are transported by our clients often require the monitoring of the remote temperature. These are often food goods, and they can be medicines, or any goods where the temperature must be controlled. And in many cases, the ability to have highly accurate data means that the entire chain of from door to door, from dispatch to delivery, it is essential that that information, temperature, potentially door opening, is transmitted in real time, not only to the driver, so that they are the person that's most able to do something about it, but also for the end users who want to know that their goods are being delivered correctly. So it is important not only to have accurate real-time information, but also to be able to have a backup, and the data logger of our devices can provide that additional backup for the information. And of course, our devices are compliant with the regulations, which means that a deployment using our tags and the digital matter system means that our clients meet those requirements and can offer those that reassurance to their clients and end users. One important factor, I think, is also, sorry, just to add a comment, that our solution enables the driver to know what is happening within his vehicle, and also each and every part of the process, so the management and of course the clients, so that at each stage of the process there is enough information that is driven up. Now we'll see on the next slide different elements of that infrastructure.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Oliver. So yeah, using the ELA temperature monitoring tags and coupled with our devices, we're able to provide some pretty valuable information. So just as a starting point here, we have two sides of devices. We have our battery powered devices as well as our wired devices. So obviously there are caveats to both, where the battery powered device that I'll be discussing now obviously needs to take its battery life into account. So it might not be as live as a wired device, whereas a wired device needs to be installed but can provide some real-time tracking. So I'll discuss the two options and the reasons why we offer both and why both would be suitable for a use case like this. So I'll start on our battery-powered side. From a Bluetooth perspective and for cold chain monitoring, where you want frequent data, we go for one of our largest battery-powered device on this. It can read the Bluetooth tags. It can do almost turn by turn, as we like to call it, not live tracking, but pretty accurate minute by minute, second by second kind of tracking on two big D-cell batteries, which allows it to last a couple of years, a good couple of years, even when reporting very frequently. So this is best for applications where a user might not own the truck cab itself, but the user may own the truck trailer, which is often the case. The trucks themselves are leased or rented, and the trailers are owned. So you wouldn't be able to wire in a device into the truck if you didn't own it. So a good option would be to attach a battery-powered device to your trailer. You can gather all the information you need, and it's not dependent on the actual cab of the truck. So obviously the downside to this is you won't get as live and real-time tracking as you would with a wired device. Mentioned before, with the large battery capacity of the Remora 3 4G and Remora 3 Global, you will get a almost real-time tracking for a good number of years. So just some specs on this. We have two versions of the product. The Remora 3 4G, which works on LTE-M and NB-IoT connectivity. And now, especially within the logistics space, we have a global version of the product, which uses Cat 1 Biz with a 2G fallback, which allows you to connect in areas with much less mature cellular networks. So basically a global roaming of the device using this. And basically with this, you would be able to read the Bluetooth tags and the temperature sensors and provide alerts depending on how often you are actually uploading that data, or depending on your use case, whether you need a live alert to say, hey, the temperature has dropped below this or has moved out of this range, you could do that. But with a battery powered device, the true value I feel comes in with tracking over time. So reporting on temperatures within the supply chain, mapping that based off of location of the actual asset. So, hey, this trailer in this area seems to reach its temperature, the upper temperature ranges too often. Let's investigate the site and why those things, those anomalies are taking place. Then from a wired perspective, we have our G70 4G Bluetooth. This is a brand new product. The G70 is tried and tested, and we've had it for a good number of years, but we've just added the Bluetooth functionality, especially for use cases like this, where you now essentially have a full fleet management tool that powers into the truck itself and can speak to Bluetooth tags to gather whichever information you would require. So this would send you live location, live updates of your tags and the scanning. It allows for driver ID, which we will discuss later. And additional driver behavior smarts, but paired with the ELA tag, you could get real-time view and real-time notification of temperatures within your trailer. So this is great for very sensitive goods where an immediate notification needs to take place. You'll get an alert based off of the parameters that you would set either on your end platform or our end platform, where you can also view, again, a history of the temperature and get those alerts in real time, which is the benefit of that. It also has a backup battery for when the vehicle is switched off, and you'll still be able to get updates for a good couple of days, even without the vehicle on. So basically, between these two devices and through our end platform, you will be able to get real-time alerts, as mentioned, live value readings of the temperature within your trailer, temperature graphs over time. You can do some asset health monitoring on the back of this based off of temperatures and temperatures that the device may be experiencing. And as well as these two devices, which I've mentioned for this use case, we do have some smaller devices like our Oyster 3 4G Bluetooth and our Oyster Edge device, which are smaller, lower battery life, but in terms of overall backwards looking reporting, you could check your temperature every hour, every couple of hours, and report based off of that. But these are best for live temperature tracking. So
Thank you, Richard. What you can see on the screen is our BluePack T, which is one of our most popular devices due to its long battery life, resistance to cold. Also, the device is roughly just over 57 millimeters wide by 20, so it is very easy to install. What this means, is it will come down to provide strong added value to any of these deployments. It's a device that has very long battery life. In some cases, it may actually outlast the reefer or trailer that it's been placed into. There are 3 different ways that the device can be installed, but it generally can take under a minute to install the device. The improvements that we've been able to make to the resistance of the battery to low temperatures mean that the device can be easily installed, can be effective in working within minutes, and will last a considerable amount of time. The key advantages for any of such project is that this vastly reduces the costs of deploying the device. Also, the device is very reliable. You can provide over-the-air updates to the device as well. So it's a device that is not only easy to install, is reliable. It's something that you can put in a place in the project in the device, and there'll be no need to return to the thing. The only potential reason why you'll need to go back is if your client requires calibration of the device, and that's also a service that we can provide. We also provided a different version of this device, which is the BluePack T Probe, which will enable you to provide temperatures of -80 to 200 degrees. And it works on the same principle with the same, can be deployed, with the digital matter devices in the same way. Both of those devices have have the data logger capability, which mean that you can it can manage and record up to 4,000 data points. So should there be any reason to get the data to look back, then the data can be downloaded from the device itself by connecting to the device. And through our Bluetooth advanced features options, the client can define a time period, or define different data points to download. So those 4,000 data points don't need to be downloaded at every time. One key functionality, which I know my clients find very useful, is the ability to contextualize the data, so that different parameters can be applied to a temperature range of, say, -15 to -5. So we can have a 15-minute chirp rate within that temperature. If it goes outside of that temperature, then a faster chirp rate can be programmed, which enables Digital Matters clients to be able to react fast should that be necessary.
We can talk about how GPS tracker and door monitoring sensors can work together.
The benefits of truck door detection using our BluePack Mag device means that the end user can be alerted in real time to the door being opened. This can be used not only for, we see on the slide, for theft, but also in the case of detecting anomalies in terms of the temperature. In some cases, we can see that the temperature is rising fast in a particular delivery, and having the door detection enables the end user to know whether it is a problem with the refrigerating unit, or simply the door is still open. The BluePack Mag is highly accurate, and it will indicate when the door is open or shut. The device can also, the information can also be passed to the driver in real time. This product is also used in other industries for detecting whether panels on lorries are open as well. So it is a product that is well used in the market and benefits from our experience. It is a robust device, and enables, just to finalize on this page, everybody to know when the door is open in real time.
Yeah, so using our devices and this door open closed sensor, at the same as the temperature tags, we have the options of historic versus live data. And as Oliver mentioned, for a historic data standpoint, it's great to see, okay, the temperature changed in this area, but that's because the door was open for 3 hours. So you can action some maintenance and some preventative measures on the back of that. And with our live data as well, you would be able to link the Bluetooth tag to the device, and through that get real-time notification for door open closed, as well as set durations. So if your vehicle is moving and someone is taking deliveries out of this truck on a regular basis, you don't necessarily want to be notified every time the door opens. But if the door is open for more than 10 minutes, that should flag something. And you'd be able to set those settings through our platform or through your platform. The device is able to transmit that information. And through that, you'd get your live alerts, you'd get reporting on that. And using these devices for that door open closed, as well as if you need it in conjunction with the temperature tags, provides a really holistic view on the temperature side of things. And from a theft management perspective, getting live updates on when your truck door is open, especially when it shouldn't be, is great feedback and great in prevention. Using geofences with these devices, which can be stored on the devices as to areas where the door should be allowed to be opened or shouldn't be allowed to be opened, combination of those would provide a great overall solution for preventing and managing theft.
And so this is an image of the Blue Puck mag and the magnet, which is in the device in the bottom right-hand corner. The Blue Puck is the same format as the Blue Puck T, so 57 millimeters wide, 20 in depth. The device detects the presence of the magnet, so the Blue Puck mag is typically placed on the door frame and the Blue Puck mag on the door itself. This can, or generally speaking, is placed at the top of the doors where they are out of the way, out of sight, and out of the way of potential being pushed out of place. However, this is very rare because of the strength of the fixing options that we provide. We have 3M double-sided tape, or the device can be screwed in. So that goes back to a point that Richard made. The different fixation options offer different options to those whose fleet it is, or those who are simply renting their fleet. The tag, like the Blue Puck T, is very simple to deploy. It's very simple to configure if need be through the NFC chip within the device, and this can be done using an NFC reader. It is also resistant to temperature. As we can see, it can still operate at the temperatures down to -40, although this will have a reduction on the battery life. If I understand correctly, at -40, we're looking at a 10% a reduction in the battery life. So in short, it is a easy to install, versatile product. The fact that it has high power settings, which you can change, so from -40 decibels to 4, means that the device can easily, will transmit its data to the tracking device wherever it is in the lorry.
Okay, and for the last use case, maybe we can talk more about fleet management, and especially about drivers and passenger ID, and how GPS trackers and Bluetooth beacon can provide some very valuable information about fleet management.
ELA Innovation and Digital Matter strive to provide added value to our clients and those that use our devices and solutions. One of the key operational information that fleet operators need to know is who is driving the vehicle, so that this is from an operational point of view to understand how they should be paid, when they should be paid, but also for rotation and to respect the legislation about the how often and how much the drivers are being worked or working themselves. There are, in some cases, instances where a vehicle is being used for work purposes between particular times, and outside of those times, those vehicles may be used for personal use. So it is important to have a solution that enables the end users to know where those vehicles are, who is driving them, and when those drivers are using the vehicles. And in some cases, the regulations are different to when the vehicle is being used for professional purposes and when the vehicle is being used for outside of that. In many cases, a user-friendly system needs to be put into place. It's difficult to have 100% accuracy with a system that is hard to use and involves many steps of identification. And with Digital Matter, what you'll see is one solution that aims to make a seamless and easy solution for driver identification.
So for this application on the G70 4G BLE, as I said, one of our newer versions of the product, as well as one of the newer firmware smarts that we've put onto this product. So we now have driver ID available on the G70 using an ELA Bluetooth tag, excuse me, which is fantastic because it means no extra hardware is needed. There's no need to wire in an RFID scanner and have somebody actively remember to scan their driver ID. If you have your driver ID on you, this device will pick up that you are the one in the cab and you are the one driving. And with that, it allows you to do multiple things. So pre-drive checklists, where a driver is identified, you can then add a whole list of different checklists. This is within our platform on what is required before actually driving with the vehicle. You don't need an internet connection to be able to log your driver ID. So the device will still register that this is the driver of the vehicle, even if it is in an area with low connectivity. There's no need to wait for it to get connected for that information to be logged. With the G70, there is the option for remote immobilization, and using the backup battery, we don't even need power for this to work if someone were to disconnect the device in some outside of use case needs. And with this, as Oliver mentioned, there are lots of different rules and regulations as well as legislation that's around in terms of who's driving the vehicle and for what purpose, whether it's for work, outside of work, and using the smarts of the device and our platform or your platform. The driver ID will allow you to basically tailor this to your needs and to your regulations in your area. Then again, back to the looking back, there's driver behavior using the accelerometer on the device. You'd be able to link that back to a driver to say, hey, the stops with this truck are too aggressive, the acceleration is too fast, cornering is too tight. So you can really, instead of just having to guess who was driving the truck at that time, you can get a real indication as to how your fleet operates. This, just to tie it back to the entire discussion we've had, is an overall fleet management solution using one gateway device and multiple tags. So you could get your temperature of your vehicle, the reason potentially for the temperature change with your truck door opening and closing, and who was driving the vehicle at that time. So it really is the combination of a digital matter device and an ELA tag and multiple ELA tags can really create a bespoke and overall solution for your fleet management. So yeah, great one working together.
Thank you, Richard. And I think it's a key point to mention is that each client is different, and they will probably be interested in different parts of the solution, and we've seen some of them. What we see at the screen now is the BLE Touch. This device is very small, so it's 45 millimeters in length by 23 millimeters wide, which means that it's easily transportable on a key fob, on a lanyard, neck lanyard. However, it is a powerful device, versatile. The battery can be changed by sliding out the side panel, and it's a CR2032 battery, so a typical watch battery. The push button on the back is an extension of the BLE ID device. The touch button can be used for whatever use case the end user requires. I mentioned earlier the ability to define when to track a vehicle during work hours outside of that time, when does that tracking stop? One potential application is to use that touch button linking in with other information to say to define when the driver is working and when the driver is not. The device also has an LED, so that can be used to potentially alert the driver, or simply to indicate that a change of status has happened. It is IP65, so robust. It's not waterproof, or in the same way as the puck models are. And it's a device that is versatile. You can also use it through its NFC device. You can also use that as a badge for entering buildings. This is something that we use in our people tracking solution in other industries. So it is a long life, versatile device that is well placed for identifying drivers. ELA Innovation, having been designing and manufacturing connected devices for over 20 years, one of our key points of our reasons behind our successes is that we are providing devices that are reliable, that have a long battery life, that are easy to integrate into systems. As we've seen earlier, our devices do not need to be wired in. They are not plug and play, but stick and play. So the ease of deploying the solution, the hardware, means that the end user will be saving time and money when installing them. The data that comes out of the devices are highly accurate and in real time. As we've seen, our temperature devices are accurate to 0.5 degrees, and the door, the Blue Puck Mag, is a reliable and robust device. The aim is to provide to our clients and our clients' a comprehensive offering of sensors and tags that match their requirements. Not all clients will have the same needs, but our aim is to provide reliable and accurate sensors and devices for different fleets. Our in-depth knowledge of our products, the hardware and the software, mean that we can offer an adaptable solution to specific requirements, and of course generic requirements. And the facts, for me, the key fact is that we provide added value solutions throughout the life of the devices, and the fact that those devices do have a long battery life and are reliable mean that your investment in the devices will provide you with a strong return on that investment. And our partner, such as Digital Matter, will enable you to get the best value from those data points.
Yeah, just to echo Oliver's point, is the combination of the two, and the ease of use and the ease of deployment with our battery-powered devices. It's we run with a deploy once model, where the battery life is long enough that you won't have to touch that device again, as well as the wired device that will last indefinitely. And once the solution is deployed, it's deployed. And combining the information that can be gathered from an ELA tag with the high GPS accuracy and uploads of our device, as mentioned, creates an overall solution. And with the long battery life of the ELA devices, as well as the waterproofness, temperature ratings of the ELA devices, as well as the Digital Matter devices, which are IP68 rated, the solution should last multiple years and keep providing value as you go on.
So thank you, Oliver and Richard, for this very interesting presentation. So now, if you have any question, you can ask them by using the interface. So I will switch to the GoWebinar platform. Okay, it seems we have a lot of questions. We are at the end of the time, but we can maybe answer 3 or 4 or 5 questions. I don't know, Richard, if you want to start to answer one of the questions.
Sure. I'm not sure. I can't see the questions on your screen.
I don't know if, or maybe I can choose one. For example, we have a question for you, Richard. The Oyster 3 device, what accuracy has at satellite GPS?
So the Oyster 3 4G device, you can get accuracy below 10 meters. Obviously depends on the application and where you place the device. But yeah, using a full GPS solution when outdoors and with a good view of the sky, you can get extremely accurate.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's a question for Oliver. So how does the BLE sensor report location? Well, I think it's for both of you. That's
The question is, how do our devices record location? Our devices do not have GPS capability. The location of our devices will be done through a secondary methodology, which is if the digital matter devices know where they are, and they know which of our tags and sensors are within range or linked to the device, then the information of where our devices are is linked to that of the digital matter device.
Yes, so our devices are the ones that provide the location for the solution using our GPS antenna, and that's where the information is coupled. So we would read the tags within the space, and both of these products can read as a tag list up to 100 Bluetooth tags within a range, and all of that information can be sent up and then coupled with the actual position of the device.
okay. Thank you. Maybe it's a question for Richard again. Can the G70 be used as an indoor gateway for tracking BLE beacons, for example?
It can. The tricky thing about that is obviously GPS when indoors. So you can fix the location of the device and have it as an indoor gateway. But we do have a couple of other devices that offer almost better indoor location gateways where, again, you fix the GPS position and you could either power it or have it battery based. But yes, indoors with this device, you can set them up as gateways and scan whichever tags you need.
Okay, maybe 1 or 2 questions before the end. Can multiple ELA tags be linked to digital matter device, or is there a limit of tags?
No, so as mentioned, when scanning a tag list, you can read numerous tags, numerous types of tags, and yeah, up to 100 tags can be read and then filtered.
Okay.
From an operational point of view, I think it's important to say that, as Richard mentioned earlier, having static and mobile devices offers the ability to track the location of assets with our tags. These could be temper control pallets or device or sort of pallets. So they can be, the information will flow through the digital matter solution while that asset is within a building. And when the unit and when the pallet is transferred to a vehicle, the tracking will continue. And again, if it's then stored in a third place, meaning that digital matter and ELA can provide a door-to-door tracking of the temperature of the devices.
Okay, and maybe a last question for Oliver. Does ELA devices have to be calibrated?
That is a good question to end on. Our two devices, so the BluePark T and the BluePark T Probe, meet the requirements of the European standard EN 12830, which means that they are they follow the standard, that the information they provide and the payload meets the standard, of the European Union. Whether those devices need to be calibrated will depend on the requirements of the end user and the client. Our devices can be calibrated, so we can provide them with a certificate to say they have been calibrated and validated by a COFRAC, which is the French organization. And this certification will last for between 12 and 24 months, depending on the use of the client. So it's a service that we can provide, but it does depend on the use and the requirements of the end users.